Is there a chance the Jets don't take a quarterback at number 2?
The only way they don't take a quarterback at number 2 is if they trade down. I really think they're probably going to go quarterback. I mean, considering especially with the new head coach there, and he's going to want to tie probably his tenure as a head coach to his guy. I think they go ahead and select a quarterback. I mean, I really don't see, especially if some of the rumors are true of them getting possibly a second-round pick back for Sam Darnold, then I think that, they probably go with quarterback there.
So if they do, okay, so I guess the way that it plays out is they could trade down, keep Darnold. The best reason to get rid of Darnold at this point is A, he's not any good, so that's a problem. But the Jets don't seem to know that. They might just continue to roll with him. But even if you roll someone into who's a similar prospect to Darnold, whether it's like Zach Wilson or Justin Fields in this spot, at least you reset the rookie contract clock that you don't need to sign him to this larger extension, which you probably have to. I mean, with Darnold right now, you would, opt into his year 5. You probably wouldn't give him an extension, because if you gave him an extension, it would probably be too much money. Or you sign him to this really short deal where if he ends up being really good, then you have to sign him to this mega deal, and you probably don't want to lock yourselves into that. So I think it makes sense probably to move on. They may not choose to go down that route. Maybe let him run out his rookie contract and assess to see what's going on at quarterback next year, and then build up the talent around him. Those are all options on the board for the Jets right now. But let's say they're picking there and they're picking a quarterback. Which way do you think they go? And whether it be Fields, whether it be Wilson, as the two most likely candidates right now, Wilson being the betting favorite to go number 2 overall to the Jets at the moment, are these guys substantially better than how Darnold was as a prospect?
I was a little bit lower on Darnold coming out of USC.
Smart.
Than many, considering there was just a few questions I had about his game, some of his accuracy and ability to push the ball outside the numbers, as well as what he did versus pressure. So I had a few questions coming out. I think that Justin Fields is probably where I'd be laying my money if I'm going to bet who's going to be the second quarterback taken or the second overall pick. I personally like him as a prospect, at least in the early going right now, and all the prospect work that I've done so far. Justin Fields is my quarterback too. I think that there's just Zach Wilson's getting a lot of love, and I'm not saying that he's a bad prospect. He is definitely not. But for all the pluses and the great things about Zach Wilson, the downside's not discussed as much as some of these other prospects.
What is the downside with Wilson? What's his floor? Would he just be a colossal bust if things just don't break the right way?
So I don't know if he's necessarily going to be a bust at the next level. I think that a team taking him inside the top 5, which is pretty much where he's being rumored to go. I don't know if he makes it outside the top 3. If he does, he could be one of the guys that precipitously fall in the draft. Although I do still put the money on him being inside that top 3. The floor is, I think that he's a guy that could flash in the NFL. I think the ceiling's extremely high, but my mentions got torn apart the other day out on Twitter because I used his name and Mitchell Trubisky on the podcast in the same sentence. And that, of course, strikes the ire of people, and they don't like that name. And they don't like that name, especially when they're tied to Zach Wilson. So I think that that's the floor, is him being possibly this guy that a team is spending a top 3 pick on, tied to him for the next 3 to 4 seasons, if not maybe 5 if they pick up a 5th-year option. And at the end of that contract, they could be saying, okay, it's time to go get another quarterback.